trendy travelers. I'm your host for today, Eloise Scoble, and today we find ourselves on the lovely 54 on Bath in Rosebank, where right now they are hosting a champagne garden launch, but Nadia Adams will tell you more about that next week. Right now, however, we take you back to the Seychelles, where we go to one of the highest peaks known as Mission Lodge. Stay tuned.
Coming up this week on Trendz Travel, we continue our exploration of the beautiful Seychelles. We visit Soweto for a boost in the tourism of the area. We go all the way to Togo for some funky sounds. And finally, the circus comes to town. All this and so much more on Trendz Travel this week.
Day 3 of our trip started with a tour to a little, interesting, unexpected piece of history linking British culture to the Seychelles. The low-slung stone ruins slowly returned to the forest were once a school, built by the London Missionary Society in the 19th century to care for slave children who had been dumped on the island after the abolition of slavery. Traces of foundations of the 5 buildings, which cover a total area of 540 square meters, and some walls are in place and intact. The ruins are a reminder of the Seychelles' role in the campaign to stamp out the slave trade in the region. Hey Trendz, we're still in the Seychelles on the island of Mahi, and today we're at the Mission Lodge, which is a World Heritage Site, and we're here with our tour guide Bernard, who's going to tell us all about it. So Bernard, tell us, what exactly is Mission Lodge?
Mission Lodge is a place where they call it Town. All the slaves back in the 18 something, they used to live here. Then they were freed in around 1835. The slaves were freed, and also a school was formed in around 1860s, which didn't last for the slaves because it was closed in around 1885 due to there was not sufficient fund to maintain the school, so they were closed. This is where they used to live, around 2,400 something slaves.
Okay, and today this site is a World Heritage Site. How did it become to be a World Heritage Site?
You know, in 1972, Queen Elizabeth II visited Seychelles, and she came here. She visited also this site. She then called it Mission Lodge. This was when the name was changed. They called that Mission Lodge, and she, together with the Seychellois, the locals, fought to have this place protected by the World Heritage. This is when it was they started to work on it.
With that being said, no trip to Mahi is complete without a stop here, and most guides bring tourists here for a bit of indulgent history. But what people really come here for is the superb lookout. Close to the highest point you can reach on Mahi by road, Mission Lodge is perhaps the most famous vantage point in all of Seychelles. Originally called Town, it is situated at an altitude of 450 meters.
So we're standing from here, overlooking all this area, where you have the second highest mountain, the base of it, but the mountain itself is a bit further right. Yeah. Then you have all these mountains, all with different names. All of this like a bay. It goes in and out, in and out. You see, that's a beautiful one. That's Petit Ansa, very small, like you said, it's a very small beach.
Small beach.
And there's a big beach.
Grand beach.
Grand beach.
Town is a place of unique historical, cultural, aesthetic and ecological value. It is a mystical place nestled among the dense and unique vegetation of the Mornay-Seychellois National Park. Okay, so guys, this right here is, you'll never guess, it's a cinnamon tree. There's cinnamon on this tree. I'd let you smell. I'm going to let you smell in a while. Bernard, what's going on here?
Yeah, this used to be a big cinnamon tree that for ages been standing over here, and it's just fall down. Yeah, that's it. And like it was same as this one here. That's a big cinnamon tree over there. So this one just got too old, so it fell down, and people has been shopping over here.
Okay, so how do we get the cinnamon off here?
Yeah, it's not so easy, but you can get something a bit sharp. Then you have to maybe hit in between. Like
I'm getting cinnamon, guys. Not the hard way.
To remove a bit of it.
And then what do you do? Do you have to dry it?
Then, to use it, you have to dry it. Put it in the sun to dry. And you can grind afterwards, like it becomes like powder, and use it in food. You see, that's part of it.
Haha!
It's very nice smell.
Guys, I'm gonna let you smell it. Have a smell, guys. Totally cinnamon. Very, very strong. Delicious. There we go. And you can't, can we plant this at home?
No, this one won't grow.
No, it won't grow.
No, it won't grow. You have to get like small plants you've got everywhere under the big trees.
Yeah.
You've got small plants, then those one can grow, but I don't know, it's difficult to get out of the country maybe.
Yeah, and I don't think it'll grow in my yard. I think the climate has something to do with it.
Also, yeah.
Okay.
And here's there's a nice climate for everything. Different kinds of trees, endemic trees. They are all found here, all over the place.
Okay, here we go. We got our cinnamon. I'm gonna make something fancy with it. I don't know what yet, but it's gonna be fancy. Melktert with cinnamon. Thank you.
Leaving Mission Lodge, we ran into a group of tour school students, obviously learning how to take a tourist through Benstown and providing all the pertinent information. The road or alley to the viewpoint of Mission Lodge is lined and marked with sand dragon trees or the blood dragon trees on both sides. Benstown exudes a kind of mystique that can be felt immediately as one steps on the site. This is probably due to its rich history and this exclusive location. At any time, up or down, you are met with fantastic, breathtaking views, totally worth the stop. Hot air balloon enthusiasts in France mark the anniversary of the first ever balloon flight at an international gathering in South Central France.
Ah, les sensations en vol, c'est formidable, c'est l'art de naviguer dans l'air, c'est le rêve de l'homme, c'est ce qu'on arrive à faire en montgolfière et c'est quelque chose de fabuleux.
The symbolic event in Pays-en-Velay celebrates the first manned free balloon flight made by François Laurent de Arlens and Philantre de Rosière in November 1783.
La seule chose qu'on peut faire, c'est monter et descendre. Donc c'est bien, monter et descendre. Heureusement, par rapport au sol, il y a différentes couches de vent. Et donc les directions de vent, les couches sont des directions, des vitesses différentes. Et donc on peut éventuellement aller dans une couche qui va plus à droite, une couche qui va plus à gauche, qui est plus rapide, qui est plus lente. Et on peut jouer un peu avec ça.
Colorful balloons soared into the sky above the region where the Arlens originated from at the gathering, which brought together pilots from 8 different countries and 50 balloons.
Pilots at the event said it was man's dream to fly in the sky, but the task required a great deal of patience. Hot air balloons are carried by atmospheric currents, and the only element pilots can control is where they take off from.
Être en l'air, suspendu à une bulle. Est-ce que vous imaginez ce que ça peut représenter? On sait où on décolle, on ne sait pas où on va. Donc c'est l'aventure et c'est une fameuse école. C'est l'école de la patience. Parce que faire du ballon, je le dis toujours, c'est se dépêcher d'aller attendre.
Pioneers Razia and the Arlands flew over Paris in a Montgolfier balloon for around 25 minutes with the approval of King Louis XVI. Razia would eventually be killed in a hot air balloon feat, crashing off the French coast during an attempt to cross the English Channel.
We are your eyes in all major events around the world.
A wonder not seen in the United States in almost 100 years.
It looks like the sky of a different world. You see the stars out during the day. You see a sunset 360 degrees all around you.
Before you leave, make sure that Dropburn is taking you through traffic alerts all around South Africa.
All we can do is stick to what we do and focus on our own job and not focus on them.
The Boks will also don the red jersey in this match to mark the 25th anniversary of rugby unity in South Africa.
An update on all major currency to guide you. A story of women in jail told in pictures by Fatima Mir through art that will blow your mind. Set the agenda for the day with Morning Live.
Today on Rights and Recourse we will unpack the new traditional court model.
The idea of the bill is not to overregulate, to basically set the principles.
The most important aspect of this bill is that it understands that customary law by its nature is consensual, that I have a right to affiliate, I have a right therefore to opt in, and I have a right to opt out.
The opt-out provision is basically one that you've got to respect the court in the sense of if you've been summoned, you've got to tell the clerk of the court at least that you're not willing to attend.
The challenge that I would like to throw to the Department of Justice, it has to come up with mechanisms of ensuring that people who exercise their right to opt out or to opt in are not in any way victimized.
Hashtag Rights with Dumila Mates on legal issues every Sunday at 2 o'clock Central African Time.
Just as Soweto is one of Johannesburg's prime tourist locations, so other townships are trying to do the same. So we take you to Sharpeville where you can find out just how they're trying to do that.
Minister of Tourism South Africa, Togo went to launch the tourism monitors in Soweto. The tuk-tuk is becoming more popular in South Africa, and the minister ditched the blue lights for the bright and fun mode of transport. There's also no better way to experience the township than on foot. She went around key tourism sites on Vilakazi Street for a first-hand experience. The tour continued with the monitors guiding the way as the minister paid homage to one of our greatest leaders, Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, whose home is now one of the most visited heritage museums in Soweto.
This was the house of Mr. Mandela. They call the matchbox because of the size. So you all know Madiba was born in a small village Mvezo. So he came here when he was a young guy. He was a lawyer, married to his first wife by the name of Evelyn.
The informative guides were at hand to give in-depth information about the home and the people that once resided in it. One of the most interesting places she visited was the live snake show. Everyone got to see all the wild and unusual animals on display. Then we spoke to their keepers.
At the age of 7, she started holding a snake at the preschool Lagata Afundakon. So as a mother, I was giving her support. So I used to take her wherever Guninyoga, Nyamusa Kwan. 2003, saya for ways Visekaso, Abambinyoga. And then 2009, a Soweto festival. There was a snake park. So Luande went inside the snake park, we snake pit. Kunama python. Wangena wahlala lapho ajabulile. I've got pictures for that. Wahlala lapho ama python amhamba ajabulile. So from there, as a mother, Niggas support such a snake club at Eden Vale. We used to go there every Saturday to volunteer to clean for the snakes. They had plus minus 300 reptiles lab. So Sitlina, Safunda, few things lab. Then I started buying our own snake 2009, 2010, and 2012 Savula is show like this. Same thing as Ibona Yenzo Eden Vale. Certainly we can do it here in Soweto. So that is why today now we've got 9 snakes. We've got a monkey, hedgehog, python, we've got anaconda, and a parrot.
The Hector Peterson Museum is one of the great reminders of the sacrifices that the students of the 1976 Soweto uprising made. It is one of the stops that we made to pay homage to the rich history of Soweto. Finally, we made our way to the official launch where the minister gave her keynote address, encouraging the youth to be proud and take part in the tourism in their own backyards.
I am so delighted to be part of you today. Since the morning, the sunrise, sifumene apa kwasakums today, and our breakfast. So we're part of the breeze of this Vilakazi Street, which is a critical part of the story of our heritage as South Africa, and the only street in the world to count the 2 Nobel Peace Prize laureates, our Dada Nelson Mandela and Dada Bishop Tutu. And we also recognize this part of the world as the epicenter of student protests, where young Hector Peterson was shot dead by apartheid police. And we were so happy today to find time with some of the residents and young people to take a short left to see some of the attractions that we have here, so that it's not just something that is appreciated by tourists coming from all over the world. We can also make South Africans tour their own country. And as they do that, they join us in a slogan and a campaign that we have launched that is termed "We Do Tourism." We have a firm belief that if you make communities participate, the level of crime and the level of feeling unsafe by tourists, whether it's domestic or international tourists, will come down because everybody participates. So in that way, we then, together with the provincial government and Gauteng Tourism Agency agreed to launch a pilot project of tourism monitors, involving young people, involving communities, to ensure that they become visible and participate in the tourism that we want to grow. In the hotspot where tourism happens, we want to see you. We want you to be able to guide tourists to attractions and to areas that they would not normally go. Because even in the Vilakazi street itself, tourists don't go to each and every one of the attractions that we traveled into today. Be ambassadors of our country. Be loyal to our country. Be in the mandate of growing tourism in the country.
After all the formalities, we were led to the famous Lebu's Backpackers in Orlando West, where we got to unwind and put our feet up in front of a cozy fire and listen to some good music. But before we could tuck into the warm and hearty meal, there was more to be said about township tourism development.
We firstly would like to welcome you to Gauteng, and specifically here at this venue. You can tell that we are aggressively marketing and promoting township tourism. In Gauteng, we have a strategy on the township enterprise revitalization.
We are very excited as the National Department of Tourism to partner once again with Gauteng Tourism to launch our Tourism Monitors program. As MPUS says, it is part of a national program. We're rolling out the pilot in Gauteng, and it will be rolled out nationally. The other thing that we're rolling out starting in Soweto is really precinct planning, and this space offers the opportunity for us to learn about how precincts develop organically, what makes township tourism successful, and the purpose of our plan around precinct planning is really to look at how we might learn the lessons from this space and translate it into township tourism development across the country. We all do tourism in very different ways, but I think that for many of us historically, we didn't understand that when you visit your friends and relatives in a township and you go out to eat somewhere, that's a tourism experience, actually. And many people just see it as an experience that is about traveling to foreign places in an interesting way, and actually, experiencing things elsewhere. But in fact, you can't experience things elsewhere if you don't start at home. So, first and foremost, that's what we're encouraging people to do tourism in your own space, to visit your backyard, and I think it's the neighborhoods, your hoods, the places that locals visit, because if you visit places, you can be sure that visitors who come from elsewhere are going to go to those very same spaces, because that's what they want to do. They want to experience a place like a local, and it has to start with us.
Then it was time to enjoy a warm meal that every proud South African loves, pap and vleis. The township has much to offer: the heritage, the warmth, and of course, great food.
Trendz. Well, as you know, the festive season is a time where most people do their traveling. I mean, you spend the whole year working, stressing, planning, and then in December, you take your flight and you go to some sort of exotic local destination. You go to Durban, or you go to Cape Town, you go to Ballito. Well, today, this is exactly what we're here to find out. What happens from the time you check in your luggage to the time that you actually board the plane. I'm inside one of our local carriers, so let's see what it's all about.
For you, the passenger, your journey to your special holiday destination begins here at the check-in counter, where you get ready to board your flight. But for the cabin crew on any local flight, the day's work begins here in the briefing room. It is in this room that the cabin crew or flight attendants make preparations for the flight. It is not just a matter of checking in, but it's checking emergency on-person apparatus. There are many things like making sure each crew member has a working flashlight and extra batteries. It's checking logbooks and doing a hefty amount of paperwork. Each flight is different, and it is here that the captain or pilot briefs his crew. A briefing consists of where they are flying to, how many people on board, any passengers with special needs, weather conditions, and the duration of the flight. After this, it's onto the plane to get things flight ready.
My name is Tia. I'm a senior cabin crew member from OR Tambo and Lanseria. And
my name is Leah. I'm a junior cabin crew member from Lanseria Airport.
Okay, so we're about to demonstrate what we do on a daily basis while the passengers wait for us to board the flight. Leah's about to demonstrate her pre-flight check on the door, which is most imperative actually here at Mango. Each crew member is assigned their own door, and only that crew member can use that door for the duration of the flight. So what Leah is demonstrating right now is that the door has to be opened all the way and has to be locked against the fuselage of the aircraft. She has to put up her barrier strap to check whether that's operable as well. In case we have to leave the door open, we just have to show that for safety purposes the warning streamer is there. And she has to check whether it closes and flashes against the fuselage for any pressurization purposes. So this is the fire extinguisher check. You check whether it's there, you check the date, you check that you have enough on board, you check that it's sealed and secure and working. Back. Always have to go back. So Roxanne is checking whether the tape is in and whether it's working, and that it makes all the right announcements throughout the duration of when the tape is going to play. So you're going to play the tape.
On board one of Mango's Boeing 737-800.
Right. You stop the tape and you rewind it, and you make sure that it's ready for boarding when your passengers come on board. And then you check your in-flight lighting for different settings throughout the flight. And then you do an in-flight communication check where you make an announcement from the front, and then you make one where you call your crew members at the back. Working. That one is for the captain, which is silent. We can hear it, but trust me, passengers can't. Then she's going to do what we call a sit and fit. She checks the seats. She checks whether it's going to fit her. She adjusts the harnesses and the straps, and she's done. So Lisa's going to demonstrate how we check our medical equipment, starting with the oxygen cylinders. She's going to check whether it's there, that it's secured in its right place, that it is right, and the expiry date. And then she's going to make sure that it's secure again. Thereafter, she's got a megaphone. This is what we use in an evacuation when we're outside and we're trying to control the crowd. So this is another piece of equipment that we do really need in an emergency evacuation. So Lisa's taking out the grab bag now. It has to correspond with the doctor's kit that's next to it. It has a special color, special bag, and this one holds all of our breathing equipment that we're going to use in an emergency, a medical emergency on board.
After all this, the plane is now flight ready and passengers can begin boarding. And that was just a bit of an education if you just always wanted to know what happens in the 45 minutes wait after you've booked in for your flight. Well, right now we're taking a short break and we'll be back with more of Trendz Travel after this.
I feel the real person.
And it's nutritious and delicious.
It's good. I really like it.
This celebrates being South African. We love our beer, we love our food, we love our music.
For knowing who are going, you must know where you come from.
I'm excited to be part of this year.
For all your travel trends, catch us every Sunday, 12 midday on Channel 404.
Good day, Trendz. Right now we're going to take you to a tango band. We're going to go to Nigeria and find out all about their fashion, and we're going to make a stop in India to find out about their food. Music band Vadu Game is rehearsing for their first ever performance in Togo, the home of their lead singer and composer, Peter Solo. Formed in France by Solo 3 years ago, six-man Vadu Game is critically acclaimed internationally for its blend of funk, jazz and afro-soul.
C'est pas une obsession, c'est important, c'est vital pour moi, c'est mon équilibre, ma culture. Et souvent quand tu es à l'extérieur comme ça, le Togolais ou le Béninois est considéré comme quelqu'un qui vient du vaudou, le pays du vaudou. Et alors que nous-mêmes, on a peur de ce vaudou-là, on a honte. Et je me dis, mais c'est quoi ça, ce vaudou qu'on a honte, alors que le vaudou n'a jamais fait de la guerre, qui que ce soit. Le vaudou n'a jamais tué qui que ce soit, n'a pas tué plus que les autres. Et c'est même pas le vaudou qui tue, c'est les humains qui tuent les gens. C'est les humains qui pratiquent ce vaudou-là, qu'on appelle une partie de vaudou-là, cette énergie qu'on appelle un beau ou le gris-gris, qui utilise ça pour faire du mal. Et maintenant, tout le monde accuse le vaudou que c'est le vaudou qui fait du mal. Non, c'est les personnes.
Solo became a household name in Togo with his hit song in Komlodo in the late 90s before he moved to Europe to try to broaden his career. Now he is back to bring his music to its roots. Fusing traditional music and tropical sounds from his hometown of Aneho-Gliji in southern Togo, which is also the home of voodoo culture, Solo created his own sound which he calls voodoo funk.
Très authentique, parce que tout bon Africain qui se respecte doit connaître ses origines, savoir d'où il vient. Et le vaudou, ce n'est pas quelque chose de mauvais en soi, mais bon, en fait, je pense que c'est la racine, l'essence de tout être, en fait, des 4 éléments, l'eau, la terre, le feu et l'air, en fait.
Alors, à la base, c'est de l'authentique, c'est de l'authenticité pure, et il faut dire aussi que il est le seul qui le fait aussi bien, comme ça. C'est notre Afrique qui résonne juste derrière et on est fiers d'être africains à cet instant T. Voilà.
While voodoo is practiced by various communities in West Africa, it is widely viewed with suspicion and negativity for being steeped in mysticism and rituals. Solo says there is nothing to fear and that music of voodoo represents the cultural identity of his country. With his trademark tight pants, beaded necklaces and shirtless look, Solo and his band performed to a packed house of both locals and foreign fans. Solo has been referred to as the reincarnation of Nigerian music legend Fela Kuti, the pioneer of African beat.
Un État a besoin il y a 3 trinités pour qu'un État, l'équilibre d'un État. Il faut l'économie, il faut la politique, mais il faut la culture aussi. Donc la culture, comment on peut nous en vivre avec la culture? Notre culture, pas la culture de quelqu'un, notre identité, notre philosophie, notre art, notre manière de vivre. Et c'est le vaudou qui nous a enseigné ça, cette façon-là, qu'on est togolais. On mange à koumé, la pâte et tout ça là, c'est traditionnel, c'est pas moderne. Donc tout cela vient de nos temps, de nos ancêtres.
Performance to try and demystify voodoo to his audiences, explaining its impact on music.
Solo said he was proud of the reception he received at home and plans to tour other African countries and spread the message of what he sees as universal values that voodoo offers. The band has so far released 2 albums and is currently on tour in Europe.
Dazzling on the runway. The Lagos Fashion and Design Week was graced with class and panache. Since its launch in 2011, it has become one of the most popular events on the African fashion calendar, shining a spotlight on local designers.
Africa has always been inspiration to the global fashion industry for decades in trying to draw attention to Africa shaping fashion's future. It's not because it's something new. It's because, we just want to draw people back again that, guys, you know what, we have what it takes as a continent. We have what it takes as a continent to design fashion for Africa, by Africans, to be consumed in Africa.
This year's fashion theme was Africa shaping fashion's future. The richly decorated and bold details of the outfits stood out. From lace to thick material, each designer's inspiration was well represented. This time, Heineken was the headline sponsor of the 2017 Lagos Fashion and Design Week edition. It is the brewer's 3rd time to be the guarantor of the event. However, it's the first time showcasing their designs on this podium.
What emotion!
27-year-old Azawalji and 24-year-old Lulu Mutsule, both from Kenya, co-created the Heineken Africa-inspired collection, supported by the Heineken design team and Lu Fashion Design.
It was a lovely experience actually working with the company to be able to create a collection that suits their brand.
Given that it was a collaboration, which is definitely worth noting, I'm excited that I'm surprised that I was able to come up with this in a tight time frame, but again, of course, because we had a lot of ideas and a lot of creatives that definitely understood the wavelength that I was coming from, I'm very grateful that it all came together because of this.
The duo were among 10 finalists who participated in the Heineken African-inspired Fashion Challenge held in Kenya's capital, Nairobi. They were required to design a bartender outfit incorporating the symbols of Heineken's light beer brand on an African fabric. The Lagos platform was significant to them to present their craft and skills.
To be able to be showcasing in Lagos Fashion Design Week is the bigger part. I mean, that's the main thing.
It's definitely helped me. I will say that I'm very fresh back into the market. I've been back in Kenya for about a year, officially. And so joining with this project with Heineken was very much a blessing. And I hope more things unfold.
A total of around 50 designers from New York and 9 different African countries showcased their work. Spearheaded by their tagline, "Open Your World," Heineken expressed their attachment to fashion.
I think there's a very nice match between that theme and what we've been doing. So we were looking for sort of reinterpretation of African fashion from what you would traditionally know. So that's future driven, that's innovative. And the Heineken brand with its open your world theme and progressive mindset is future oriented. So I think it beautifully comes together.
The Lagos Fashion and Design Week has also expanded its scope of works by creating 2 main platforms that run concurrently with the Fashion Week: the Fashion Business Series and Fashion Focus.
Before, I didn't really get that fashion was this intense and serious, because I mean, and it's so diverse. There's so many different styles I've seen here.
As I was sitting down, I actually was having a lot of ideas coming to my head. Yes, I think it has actually widened my horizon.
As the models walked the event away, the designers beamed with pride and confidence to hit the fashion market.
India on Saturday attempted to set world record by preparing 800 kilograms of khichdi, an Indian dish made of rice and pulses, at the World Food India event in New Delhi. Led by renowned Indian chef Sanjeev Kapoor, a team of 50 members prepared the food in a stainless steel giant wok, which was 7 feet in diameter and had a capacity of 1,000 liters for over 10 hours. Food Processing Minister Harsimrat Kaur Badal said the feat would popularize the healthy Indian dish globally, and that would resultantly increase the demand for country's grains, which would benefit the farmers.
I think it's brilliant. Today an Indian dish is going to come onto the global platform. It's going to create a global interest. Demand for our ancient grains is going to increase once people find out the health benefits, and it's going to directly impact the farmers of India.
Rolling.
Everyone wait.
Selected as brand India food, the khichdi, prepared by using rice, pulses, coarse cereals and spices, would be distributed among orphans and Gurudwara, a Sikh temple. Inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the 3-day event, a first by India for the food processing sector, is aimed at attracting investors into the sector.
इसको अब सर्व किया जाएगा दिल्ली में करीब 10,000 से भी ज़्यादा लोगों में इसको सर्व किया जाएगा, जिसमें हमारे अक्षय पात्रा के लोग जो हैं इसको पैक करेंगे और इसे लेके जाएंगे और इसे हम सर्व करेंगे। गुरुद्वारे के अंदर भी इसको सर्व किया जाएगा। संजीव जी
It is reportedly being attended by 2,000 people and 200 companies from 30 countries. Germany, Japan and Denmark are partner countries at the event, while Italy and the Netherlands are the focus countries.
I'm still waiting for a few pieces of evidence to verify the record.
क्योंकि जो लोग अट्रैक्ट करते हैं कैमरा, उनको हम यहाँ से दूर ले जाएंगे।
और ये गिनेस बुक वाले यहाँ पे आके खड़े हैं।
Pump up your energy, keeping you in action through sports updates while resting at home. This is what's happening in your world of sports every weekend.
In the second half, Kulisi and Jaco Kriel combined well, and Kulisi scored his second try. He was also named man of the match.
Confusion from the West defenders gifted Patosi with a close-range goal.
In the 10th round,
He pinned a visibly fatigued McGregor on the ropes and hammered the Irishman before the referee stepped in to stop the bout.
He's a tough competitor. He's a lot more experienced, especially in the layout.
Keep it locked on Sports Live every Saturday and Sunday at 20:30.
Well, trainers, before we leave you, we will be taking you international as we take you to an elephant circus and thereafter a carnival in Germany. Enjoy.
Germany got into the spirit of the foolish season in Cologne on Saturday with an unusual street party making the start of the carnival. Every year on the 11th of November at 11 minutes past 11 o'clock, thousands of carnival revelers gather to kick off the festival, one of the biggest in all of Europe. Cologne is at the center of carnival celebrations, staging the biggest and most famous events, attracting visitors also from afar. With the cry of the traditional carnival greeting Alaf, guests threw themselves into festivities, including on-stage performances of comedy and live music.
Gegen die Kälte trinkt man sich weg. Und ja, 11.11. ist Karnevalsanfang und das ist für den Kölner was ganz Besonderes. Ja.
Ja, einfach die Laune. Jeder ist gut gelaunt, trotz des Wetters, ist scheißegal, alle sind gut gelaunt und das ist das Gute.
Wir sind seit 30 Jahren ein Damen-Stammtisch und es war immer unser Traum, zum 30-Jährigen nach Köln anzureisen. Und darum sind wir jetzt da.
The festival initially runs for 1 week, then customarily takes a break for the Christmas period before picking up again in the new year until Ash Wednesday. Paintings created by an Indian elephant who enjoys wielding a brush were auctioned off by a Hungarian traveling circus on Saturday. Three of 42-year-old elephant Sandra's abstract canvases with colored lines flowing across them resembling rivers fetched about 40,000 forints, $150 each.
Arra gondoltuk, hogy ezt a pamacsot ki tudnánk cserélni egy ecsetre.
és hát ez neki nem volt nagy nehézség, és akkor ezt belemátottuk neki festékbe, és akkor amit látható itt mögöttem, itt a képeket, ezeket ő meg tudja itt szépen festeni, és hát ez itt végül is nem egy állandó feladat Szandrának, hogy inkább amikor kedve van, akkor megcsinálja, és olyanokat rajzol, amilyen éppen kedve van, amilyen napja van.
A painting depicting Sandra herself, done by a Hungarian painter, sold for 260,000 forints. The money will be offered to an elephant sanctuary in Malaysia.
Hát annyiban segítek, hogy cserélem neki az ecseteket, és megtunkolom neki a különböző festékekbe, de a többit nagyjából már ő csinálja. Igen. Meg hát dicsérem, hogy na ez most nagyon jó sikerült ez a kép, nem most ez nem annyira. Szóval ez ilyen, nem már 40 éve együtt vagyunk, szóval ez már egy családi kapcsolat.
Sandra paints with her trunk purely for pleasure, according to her owner and trainer Florian Richter, a horse acrobat and circus director.
Ez nem egy állandó feladat, ez éppen amilyen kedve van, és olyanokat rajzol, amilyeneket akar, tehát nem kimondottan most egy házat fog megrajzolni, hanem az, ami éppen benne van, amilyen paszban van, és én azt gondolom, hogy ennek is nagy értéke van így egy festményben.
Sandra, who was already well practiced in a circus trick involving a shaving brush, was given a paintbrush and she quickly adapted her skills to the canvas.
Összesen a vadonban 1000 darab ázsiai elefánt él, most jelenleg Malajziában, és szeretnénk segíteni őket ezekben a munkában.
Richter said that unlike many elephants in Thailand that are thought to be forced to paint, Sandra does it by herself when she is in the mood.
Hölgyeim és uraim, Richter Florian, Richter Kevin és Sandra.
And it's a wrap, folks. That's all we have for you on today's edition of Trendz Travel. Join us again next week, same time, same place. I'm your host, Eloise Scoble, and look forward to seeing you again.
We take an in-depth look of all your stories of the day across the world.
Last month, Mkhwebane said that the bank had failed in its duties to protect the public by not ensuring that ABSA repaid an apartheid-era bailout given to the failed bank, Bank Corp. The rand fell nearly 2% on her remarks.
My effort, in my opinion, is going to be to build a Zimbabwe that I believe in.
as opposed to remaking a Zimbabwe of the past that I cannot do anyway. So I'm absolutely clear on this.
We need to start showing more commitment by government that they are committed to working with business, and therefore that should start to stimulate confidence, and with confidence comes investment, and with investment hopefully comes growth.
Stay tuned to Primetime News every day from 18 hours.